You know that feeling when you've done everything right today and your kid still melts down at the dinner table, and you're sitting there thinking, what am I even doing wrong? That moment, that specific moment where you're exhausted, you're overwhelmed, and you feel like no matter how hard you try, nothing is clicking the way you imagined it would when you first became a parent. That feeling is exactly why we need to have this conversation today. Because here's the truth that nobody tells you. The problem is almost never what you think it is. It's not that you're a bad parent. It's not that your kids are difficult. It's not that your family is broken. It's that tiny, invisible habits are running your home on autopilot, and most of them are working against you without you even realizing it. And the families who figure this out, the ones who seem calm, connected, and actually enjoy being together, they didn't stumble onto some secret. They made small shifts. Specific, repeatable, simple shifts that changed everything. Before we go deeper into those shifts, I want to mention something quickly. We have related programs linked down below in the video description that go much further than what we can cover today. If you've been feeling like your family is just surviving instead of thriving, those programs exist for a reason. And now is the time to look at them, not later, not next week. Because the parents who wait for the perfect moment to invest in their family usually look back wishing they had started sooner. Now let's get into this. Picture this. You're getting ready in the morning. It's chaos. Someone can't find their shoes. Someone is crying over breakfast. You're already late. You raise your voice. The whole house tenses up. You walk out the door feeling guilty, and that guilt follows you all day. Sound familiar? That right there is not a character flaw. That is a system problem. And systems can be fixed. Research consistently shows that children's emotional development is shaped more by the predictability of their environment than by the intensity of individual moments. What that means in plain language is this. It's not the big vacation or the perfect birthday party that makes your child feel secure. It's the boring, everyday, consistent moments that most parents overlook entirely. And here's where it gets really powerful. When children feel secure through consistent routines and calm responses, their stress hormones literally decrease. Their brain's capacity to learn, to listen, and to cooperate actually increases. You are not just making home life easier, you are rewiring how your child's brain develops. That is not small, that is enormous. So let's talk about the habits that do this, the ones that work silently in the background of your family life and produce results that genuinely surprise parents who try them. The first one is the 10-second pause. When you feel that heat rising in your chest, when you're about to react to something your kid just did or said, you pause. 10 seconds. That's it. Not because you're suppressing your emotions, but because your child is reading your nervous system before they're reading your words. When you stay regulated, they regulate. When you escalate, they escalate. Parents who practice this one habit report that the frequency of meltdowns in their homes drops dramatically within just a few weeks. Not because the kids changed, because the atmosphere changed. Now here's the pattern interrupt moment. Stop thinking about your kids for a second. Think about your relationship with your partner, if you have one. One of the most overlooked drivers of family dysfunction is when parents feel disconnected from each other, and that tension seeps into every corner of home life without anyone naming it. Children absorb emotional undercurrents like sponges. When the adults in the house are drained and disconnected, the children act out the energy that isn't being spoken. This is so important and almost nobody talks about it. The second habit is what family psychology professionals call the daily deposit. One intentional, undistracted moment with each child every single day. Not a big production, not a scheduled activity, a moment where you are fully present. You're not on your phone. You're not thinking about dinner. You're just there. Studies in family behavioral science have found that children who receive consistent one-on-one attention from a parent, even just a few minutes a day, show measurably lower anxiety levels and stronger emotional resilience. That translates into fewer tantrums, better sleep, more cooperative behavior, and a child who actually wants to talk to you when things get hard later in life. Think about what it would mean to have that. A teenager who comes to you with their problems instead of hiding them. That starts now. In these small moments, today. The third habit is collaborative problem solving instead of top-down commands. Most of the power struggles that drain parents emotionally happen because children are wired to resist feeling controlled. When you involve them in solving the problem, even with simple choices, the resistance shrinks. This doesn't mean letting them run the household. It means giving them enough agency that they feel respected. And respected children are cooperative children. Parenting experts and child development specialists consistently identify this as one of the highest leverage shifts a parent can make. Let's go somewhere uncomfortable for a moment. Because this is important. How many nights have you lain awake running through the day, replaying moments where you lost your patience, where you said something too sharp, where you disconnected? How many mornings have you woken up already bracing for the fight you know is coming? That cycle of guilt and anticipatory dread is one of the most painful parts of parenting that nobody admits out loud. And it's exhausting in a way that sleep doesn't fix. Because you're not just physically tired, you're emotionally depleted from carrying the weight of feeling like you're constantly falling short. That is real. That pain is real. And it deserves more than a tip from a blog post. The fourth habit is naming emotions before trying to solve behavior. When your child is upset, the instinct is to fix it, stop it, or reason it away. But a dysregulated nervous system cannot process logic. Before anything else, they need to feel understood. Something as simple as saying, "I can see you're really frustrated right now," creates a neurological shift in the child's brain. The threat response reduces, the thinking brain comes back online, and now you can actually reach them. This is not just theory. Brain imaging research has shown that emotional validation activates very different neural pathways than correction alone, and the outcomes in behavior are vastly different. Parents who shift to this approach consistently describe it as the moment parenting stopped feeling like a battle and started feeling like a relationship. The fifth habit is protecting your own energy like it belongs to your family. Because it does. When you are depleted, you parent from a place of survival. You snap more. You connect less. You feel more guilt, which drains you more, which makes you snap more. It is a cycle that very few parents name clearly. Taking 15 minutes to decompress, to breathe, to be a person and not just a parent, is not selfish. It is strategy. The most consistently effective parents prioritize this without apology, because you cannot pour from an empty cup, and your children need a full cup more than they need a perfect parent. Here is the thing about all of this. None of it requires more money. None of it requires more time. It requires awareness and intention applied in small, consistent doses. The compound effect of these habits over months is staggering. Families who implement these shifts describe their homes as feeling fundamentally different. Lighter, more connected, more joyful. That is the return on the investment of attention. And if you're ready to go deeper than what today's video can hold, the programs we have linked down below in the video description are built for exactly this. For the parent who is done just managing the chaos and ready to actually transform how their family functions. These resources are there. They are comprehensive, and the parents who act now rather than waiting for the right moment are the ones who look back and say the decision changed everything for us. The link is below. Take the step today.